don't believe there's going to be a reaction on that. You understand? There's going to be a reaction on that. By the time we begin to check the chart, we'll see that. Then the next we'll be having is the all day on euros. That's German prelim CPI month to month. Although we do not know when it's going to be released. All day it means yeah, within the day, news is surely going to be released, but nobody knows the exact time. Then by 2:30 p.m., we have some high impact news coming on Canadian dollar. That's the GDP month to month, and we have the core PPI month to month and PPI month to month. This news is coming out by 2:30 p.m. today. So hopefully we're expecting that the market is going to move by around that time. So we should know how to trade it. Yeah. If it comes out bullish, that is green for USD, is saying that the news is good for them. And if it comes out red, is also implying that it's negative for them. But before we move on, let's look at yesterday. Let's look at yesterday, the news for yesterday. These are the news that came out yesterday. Unemployment claim, then the ECB president Lagarde, she also spoke. That was around 9:30 a.m. in the morning. Then 2:30 p.m. we had the unemployment claims. But yeah, today we are having a different news coming entirely. JPY has been released, Euro all day, then we have CAD and USD. So this news coming out by 2:30 p.m. Could actually move because we can see it is high impact producer price index. And yes, we know that these are news that moves the market. Okay, so let's see what is going to be happening today. But with that being said, let's go to our currency strength meter to look at the strength of the currencies and know what exactly it's showing. Okay, we start with the currency strength zone. On this particular currency strength meter, this is on 1 hour time frame, showing that the strongest of the instruments as of this morning is the US dollars, followed by AUD. Then we have the NZD and the Canadian dollars, then euros, JPY. Okay, now it has changed. We have Switzerland franc, then JPY, then the weakest of them all as of this morning on this time frame is GBP. Now, this particular currency strength meter refreshes itself every 10 seconds. You can see it from the live update here. It counts, there's always a 10 seconds countdown. And after that, then you see that it changes if there's going to be any change. And it's based on time frame. This is on 1 hour time frame. On 1 hour time frame is showing that the dollars is strong, followed by AED, SZD, all through down to GBP. Okay. But let's look at the other one that we do manually. That's this for this particular this currency strength meter. Here you refresh it by yourself. So and based on what it's showing here, it's showing that AUD is the strongest, followed by NZD. Then we have euros. We have Canadian dollars. Then we have USD. We can also see on the USD is showing the green arrow. We are seeing on JPY that JPY is dropping strength. That's why it's showing the red arrow. There's Switzerland franc is also dropping strength. That's why we're seeing this. We can see GBP as the weakest here. But that's based on what we're seeing. You can see it is even the weakest. This this GBP is in agreement with this other one here too. We can see that here. But well, I really don't know how the whole thing is. Sometimes maybe well based this is based on time frames, you understand? So it could be that this other one is based on the daily time frame, and that's why we're saying it that way. You understand? But all the same, it's showing us the same thing. Okay, so we can see it like this. GBP is still the weakest. Okay, so this is on 4 hours time frame and the likes. Let's see. Okay, it's coinciding with AUD here in the same way. Then we have USD. NZD is not as strong as it is there. Well, let's just, I want to believe the same thing, sure. Telling us that GBP is weak, that is weak. So it's not lying. Something is up. All right. Let's move to the technical part of this market and see what is happening. The technical part, that's really where the real deal is. Let's see what is happening on the chart. So we'll be able to know if the market is moving to the upside or is going to the downside. That's one of the things we need to look at as of this morning. We need to check it and see what is happening. Okay, let's see. I'm coming. Okay, all right. Stay with us. All right. Okay. I want to believe everybody is able to see my chart from their own end now. I want to believe everybody is able to see my chart from their own end. Okay. So let's see how it is as of this morning. Okay. Mm, okay. We are on. So we'll start with currency first. And from currency, then we move to, okay. From currencies, then we move to commodities, then to indices. Yes, that's how we're going to be doing it. Currency, then to commodities, then to indices. Okay. Yes, that's how it's going to be. With yours, please. Okay. All right. So I want to believe everybody is able to see my screen from their own end now. Okay. All right. Yes, Euro USD. So let's start with Euro USD and see what Euro USD is doing. Okay. So looking at this particular chart, we'll discover that for a while now, okay, price got to this high, then came down, and you see it respected this point two times, came down to this point and pushed up, and after that moved, and at a point it ranged around this zone. Basically, price has respected this point. Price has respected this point. But let's look at it on the daily time frame. Can we see price has gone high and now price is dropping? Based on what we're saying, it's showing us that price is dropping, but price has been respecting these zones for a while. Based on what we're saying, price has respected from this point to this point, price has respected this zone. Okay, so let me draw this and see. Based on what we're saying, okay, so this is it. Price has respected this point for a while. This is on our daily time frame. So unless price is able to break above this point on the daily time frame, then we could have price reversing back. This is it from this point to this point. But let's look at it on the lower time frame and see. Let's see, based on what we are saying, this is on 4 hours. We can see that price has also respected this point. Okay, price has respected this point based on what we're saying. Come in. Okay, come in. Okay, let's see. All right. So price has respected this point for a while. Let's look at it now on 1 hour. All right. So if this is happening on 1 hour now, price is also respecting this point. So let's see what is happening. It's either price is going to respect this point and it's going to go down based on what we are seeing. We are seeing more of a bearish trend here. But one of the two will happen. Is either it breaks above this point, and once it breaks above this point, we could expect now from that point, that is more or less like it's changing character and it might want to push up. You understand? So from this point now, we could hold on and see if price should expect this same trend, then we could have price dropping down, down, down. So it's either it breaks above this point and reverses back to the upside, or it respects this point and drops down. And if it's dropping down, it gets to this zone, is able to break below these points, then we could expect price to keep on moving bearish. You understand? So from what we're saying from this point, this could be some of those. This is our area of risk. Yes, that's what I would be saying. These are area of risk. So we need to watch out for all these zones. Yeah. It's either price breaks above this point or it reverses back. One of the two will happen. So yeah, we need to watch out for this point critically. These are strong zones that we can look out for to see what will happen. Either price is going up or is coming down, but one of the two is going to happen. Okay. That being said, let's move to the next instrument, which is USD JPY. So as of this morning by 12:30 a.m., we had the Tokyo Core CPI coming out, and it came out strong for JPY. So let's see what is happening here on this instrument. Okay, so this is it here on this instrument. This is what it's doing. Let's look at it from daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, we discover that came out it's more or less like a push down on USD JPY, showing the strength of JPY. Yeah, that JPY gained strength at that point, but now it's reversing back. This is the daily candle. We can see it. Let me zoom it in. The daily candle on candle zero. So this is it. This the candle. Now let's look at. Okay, so based on what we are seeing, all right. So around this point, this particular candle has given a very good information that price wants to go up based on what we are saying. For anybody that knows the strategy of the candle range theory, this is one. Yeah, the wick is lower than the low of the previous candle. This is candle one, candle two. So and went back up and closed bullish on the body of that previous candle. So immediately this closed, this particular two candle closed. If you had seen the opportunity and you had gone bullish, the person will be in profit. Well, this is 4 hours candle, so you should know what that means, not a 1 hour candle. So imagine that. That is a good information that price actually is going up. Well, so with that being said, let's look at it from the 1 hour time frame. So first thing first, from the daily time frame, this is what it's showing. It showed that price has gone up for a while and price dropped from this point to this point. Price has dropped. It has expected this point more or less like a trend down. But is price still going to go up? Nobody knows yet. We don't know what the market is going to do unless we look at it. Let's see. So based on what we're saying from this point, this is it. Price has respected this point for a while now. This is support zone. You see, from this point came back. In fact, this particular candle gave a good information price wanted to go up on this particular zone, and we can see that price pushed up to this point, after which it has dropped back and is still unable to break below this point. So based on this information, we could be expecting price to still what? Push up. But even if it's going to be pushing up, we should hold on for price to break above this part. There's a zone around this point. There's a zone around this point that price needs to break. And if price is able to break above this part successfully, then we could have that bullish movement. But if price does not get there and it reverses back from this point, we'll be looking at this point for price. It could break below this point. And if it breaks below this point, then yes, maybe we should be expecting a bearish move in that market there from this point, USD JPY. Okay. Yeah, so let's move to the next instrument, which is GBP USD. GBP USD. Let's see what is happening on GBP USD. Let's see what's that market saying on GBP USD. All right, I'm with us now. Let's look at it. We'll start from the daily time frame to see the direction of the market, to know which side this market is actually moving towards. All right. All right. Okay, so based on what we're seeing on daily time frame, I'm zooming out now. So we discovered that price actually pushed up for a while, and from this point came up and respected this point. You can still see that all the movement of price from here to here, even though this point is a little bit higher than this point, a little bit steep, but after that came back down. So looking at it from this particular section here, price is more of respecting the zone downwards, but there's another zone around this point that we are seeing. There's a zone around this point. All the same, let's look at it from the lower time frame. Can you see it's dropping, and we can see that there's a zone here. That zone price is respecting this point here. Got rejected here. Price came close to this point, but it's still expecting this section too. So are we expecting it to push back? Yes, it could push back up. This one that we are seeing here, this particular candle we are seeing here, it's, I want to believe it's as a result of news. So let's see what it's going to do on the 1 hour time frame. So from this point, we could have price reverse back up to regain part of this, because when price dropped here, we can see that it moved back almost uh in fact, I would say it moved 100% back from this point, back. It pushed up to this point before dropping this. So is it going to end this way? Nobody really knows. But if it's ending this way, this could also give more or less like a hint that price wants to reverse back to the upside. But let's wait and see what price wants to do there. If this particular candle closes bullish on the body of this, of candle zero closes bullish on the body of candle one, this could be a sweet information that price wants to go up, a reversal back up. You understand? But if for any reason it gets up to this point, we could also look at around this section here. There's a zone here. So price has to break above this part successfully for us to know it's going to go up. If this particular candle zero that is forming pushes up to this point, then we could expect it to break above this part first before we can go bullish with it. But if that doesn't happen, price could get here and still get rejected back to the downside. So we need to be watchful of what price will do around this point. Okay, so the next instrument we should look at, or we're looking at, is USD card. Let's look at USD card. Okay, USD card. So on USD card, let's look at it from daily time frame. I'm zooming out. We can see that yes, price for now, got up to this point, and price has been dropping back into this around the same section, because we discovered that for a while it dragged around this point before it pushed up. Now again, it's back into that same section. So it's one of the two. Either it's going to go up or come down. But let's see. Let's zoom in closer to see what is happening here now. Okay. So based on what we're seeing here, it's more or less like price has is been coming down. We can see this is from one point, it came down to this point, did another one, came down lower. Now here, are we expecting it to go lower? So what, it's respecting a point here. So it's one of the two that is going to happen. Either it breaks above this point, or it respects it and goes down. And based on what we are saying, we can see that price has tested this point severally and then break it. So if it doesn't, it could keep on coming down. This is on daily time frame, but let's look at it from the 1 hour time frame. So on the 1 hour time frame too, so this is the main deal here. There's a zone around this point that price needs to break first. Now, for some of these zones, we need to go to a lower time frame for us to see it clearly, you understand? But yeah, there's a zone around this point, and if price is able to break above it, then fine. That's when we can expect that price to push up. But if that doesn't happen, then we might not expect it to push up, you understand? And another thing that we need to look at is, you see, this week that we are seeing, the longer it is, from whichever direction it's going, will also determine how, it could also determine the direction of the market, you understand? If the week, based on what we're seeing now, this is a bullish candle. If this week becomes longer than the body, you understand? That's also another information that price might want to reverse back to the other side. So we just need to just look at it strictly. Well, technically, we need to be very, very patient to see what this market is saying. We need to be very, very patient with it for us to know what the market is saying. Okay. Um, all right. So that's that on that. We'll move to the next instrument. Yes, let's see the next instrument. Okay. All right. Let's see the next instrument. I'm coming. Okay. So yes, I want to believe everybody is able to see me now. Sorry, there was a glitch in that network. Okay. All right, so the next instrument we'll look at is USD CHF. Let's look at what is happening on USD CHF. USD CHF. All right, USD CHF. I'm with us. USD CHF. All right, so on USD CHF now, if you look, let's see what is happening daily. So based on the daily time frame, if we're going to look at it from a long time frame, we'll discover that it's more a selling trade on USD CHF than buy. Okay. And we can see for a while, look at the way it dropped again and it's pushing back up. Well, one of the secrets we've always given to clients is this, which I'm going to repeat, is first you trade with the trend. You go with the trend of the market. Don't ever trade against the trend of the market. You go with the trend of the market, you make more profit than losses. That's the way it works. You understand? So looking at the trend of this market, yeah, we are not saying you can't buy and sell on the same instrument. Yes, you can, but go for more of the direction of the market, like where it tilts towards more. That it's much more better. You understand? Okay. So with that being said, let's look at what is happening here. So price has gone down to this point, and we can also see that it's trying to push to this upside, but there's a zone around this point. Let's look at it. Let's see. Can we see? Tested this point. From this point, price is pushing up. Let's see if I can draw a trend around this point. Let's see. Maybe this from this point here. Oh, no, I think this is a little bit far. Let me pick it from this point here. Okay, from this point, let me pick it from this point. Okay, this is this point. Picking from this point, then let's pick it from this other point and see what it is saying. Okay, so if you're picking it from this point, now this X point is a strong point for us to see. So one of these 2 points, it is going to work on. And we can see that price has tested this point severally. This is the dynamic resistance that tested and not been able to break it. So one of the two will happen. Either it breaks below this point. And if it breaks below this point, we should expect a strong bearish move. And based on the trend, for some of us, based on opinion of what we've said, go with the trend. Yeah, we could see price pushing down for a very long time to come, based on what we are seeing. If you're seeing it this way, we can say that price has respected this point severally. So we could expect price to break below this point. If it breaks below this point, there could be a strong bearish push. And that's what we're seeing. Even on 1 hour here too, we can also see that price is a little bit stiff. So it's more of it. Once it breaks below this particular section, the dynamic support, we could have a strong bearish push to the downside. Yes, strong bearish push to the downside. So that's that for AUD USD. Let's look at USD CHF. Let's look at AUD USD next. Sorry, AUD USD is next. All right, for AUD USD. I'm with us. This is it on the daily time frame, and based on what we're seeing on the daily time frame, we could say it's more or less like giving us a double top here, a double top. Price has been pushing up on AUD USD for a while now. Price has actually pushed up on AUD USD for a while now, and because it's on this high side, we could expect price to what to drop from this high point that we are seeing it. We could expect price coming down. Yes, it's almost more or less like a double top. Yeah. So we could have price coming down, but there's this point where price is a resistance zone, and we can see that price is having issues around that point. This point is very, very sensitive. So one of the two will happen. Either it breaks above this point, and if it breaks above it and does a retest and doesn't come back down, we could expect a continuation in that bullish push. Yeah, we could expect that. But if price respects this point, we could have price dropping down, and that's what we are saying. Can you see it very well? Price has gone up and down around this point. Okay. Uh, so this is it on the 1 hour. As we can see it on the 1 hour, it's giving us that same bearish push. All right. Please excuse me. Okay. Sorry, I'm back. Just to set up some stuff. The device that is being used was having a little bit of it, and I needed to settle down. So thank you. All right, so let's move on. So, like I said, this particular instrument, we've had it around this point, has gotten to this resistance zone, and we can see that it has respected it for a while. So, there's a possibility that on AED USD price might drop. So, for us to even go bearish with it, let's just hold on for it to break below this part successfully. If it's able to close below this part successfully, then we could expect that bearish push. So let's watch out and see. This is on the 1 hour time frame. Let's watch out and see what is going to happen around this point. So if he's able to break below this part successfully, then we could have that strong bearish push. AUD USD. All right, the next instrument is NZD USD. NZD USD. Let's see what is happening on NZD USD. Let's go to the daily time frame. Okay, so look at this. This daily time frame. Wow, this is serious. But I think the last time I did this was last week Friday. when I analyze this instrument, I showed it to us that these are the 2 points, and price has been having issues around these 2 points. And we can see that price is still doing the same thing around these two zones. Price is neither going above or so now the whole thing is more of internal support and resistance around this point. You understand? So unless price is able to break out of these points, we might not see it going anywhere. You understand? It might just be within this range. So we are expecting price to what? To break out of these points, you understand, successfully. If it's able to break out of these points successfully, then we could see get that move that is needed. That's what I will say on this particular instrument. So that's that. Let's look at it. 4 hours time frame. Yeah. So on this 4 hours time frame, now we can see price did this twice and came down. Now price is pushing up. So we're doing it more of internal. This is more of the internal zones now. So on this 4 hours time frame, for us to go bullish, we could expect it to break above this point first. If it doesn't break above this point that has been marked out for us inside, then we might have price having issues around this point. But let's see from our 1 hour time frame. 1 hour time frame, there's a zone here, and it's giving more of price wants to go down based on what we're saying. But nobody really knows if it's going to move that way. You understand? Nobody knows if it's going to move that way. So let's wait and see what price wants to do. Is it going to go up or come down? What we're going to do is we wait for wheat. There's a zone here. Let it break below this part. If it breaks below this part successfully, then we could have price pushing to the downside on this particular instrument. Okay, so that's that on NZD USD. Now we move to commodities. Let's move to commodities. Let's see what is happening on commodities. Let's see what is happening on commodities. So first thing first, we look at oil. Let's see oil. Okay, so this is oils. Let's go to daily time frame. And yes, as we can see on this daily time frame, price has really done its own. We've had a lot of times that it has gone up to this point. In fact, on yesterday's own, it was more or less like he did a whipsaw and the like. So on this particular one, this morning now, we can see that price on oil has been bullish. It's been pushing up. But on daily time frame, you can see the trend is price has been going up. Yes. So 4 hours now, we can see that price has respected this zone for a while. So let's look at, yes, there's a minor zone. If it's able to break above this point successfully, we could have price keep on pushing up. You understand? So this is where the zone is based on what we've seen on daily time frame. You understand? 4 hours time frame too. It's still around that same point. Price is having issues around this point here and the likes. So let's wait and see. If price is able to break above this section successfully, we will see price pushing up. That's a really strong point for price. But let's wait for price to break out of this particular section successfully. If it's able to break out of this section successfully, we could have price pushing to this upside. But if that is not the case and it respects this point, price could drop. Price could drop. So let's watch and see what price wants to do. One of the two will happen. Either it breaks above this point or it respects this point and comes down. Down. Yeah. Okay. So that's that on oil. Let's look at wheat. Okay. So as of for wheat, as of this morning, we can see that wheat is more of it's ranging between this point. It's not giving us any definite direction. This is on 1 hour time frame. And because it is ranging, I'll kindly advise we hold on, let it break out first. If it breaks out to any direction, either to the up or the downside, then we what? Then we can follow. But unless that is done, we need to hold on. We need to wait. Let's wait and see what price wants to do first. Until it gives us a direction, that's when we should what? We should follow on wheat. Okay? So that's that for that. Now, yes, a lot of us I can see that we're dropping. Let's look at gold. Let's look at gold. Sorry, I'm not looking at gold this morning because price has really been unstable on gold, up, down, and based on the volatility and everything, my own reaction, I'm staying out of it. So I'm not going to be saying anything on that for now. Okay, but yeah, that doesn't mean we can't look at other commodities. So I'll go to silver. I'll go to silver. So looking at silver too. You remember it got to this high, came down, dropped down, and you discover that all the zones that has been marked, price of silver has actually respected. This is even the lowest of them all. And as of this morning, look at where price of silver is. There's a zone here. This is on daily time frame. This particular zone here is what matters. Is price going to break above it? And if it's able to break above this point successfully, then we could expect a bullish move on silver. But looking at it on 4 hours time frame, we can see what candle zero is bringing now is a bearish candle. But that doesn't mean that because it is bearish, it can't go up. You understand? It's yet to close. Let's look at it even on candle one, two. We can see that here. So if it's able to break above that part successfully here, then we could have a bullish move on this instrument. You understand? We could have a bullish move on this instrument, but let's wait and see what is going to happen first. Okay, so let's hold on and see what is going to happen around this point. Is it going to be bearish or bullish? One of the two is going to happen. And once that happens, my own bias is we take a follow on that. We shouldn't leave it. Okay, so that's that on silver. Now let's go to the index market. Let's see what is happening in the index market. Okay, so we start with US 30. Nice. So this is US 30. Okay. On US 30 now, we can see that price has respected this zone for a while. Based on what we're seeing, price has respected this point, ranged around this point, pushed up, got to this high, then after that, it dropped back to that same point, and price has respected this point. And we can see as of this morning, price is more or less like it's moving sideways around this point. That sideways movement too, if you look at it a little bit more or less like it wants to go up. But the main deal is this. There was a gap here. Yeah, if I'm not wrong, a gap. From this point, it gapped down. So what's happening? We could expect price to what? To cover for this gap. That's my own take. I expect price to cover for that gap on this particular market. The gap, yeah, I expect my price to cover for it. So based on what I'm expecting, based on what has just been said, really might not happen now. It really might not happen now. You might still decide to come down first before it reverses back to cover for that gap. But yes, I'm expecting price. I will expect price towards to cover for that particular gap. Okay, that's that. All right. So with that being said, let's move on to US 100. Let's go to US 100 and see what is happening on US 100. Okay, so look at these on US 100. There was this strong push to the downside on US 100. Strong push. One, two, these long candles. Wow, it was a strong movement. Uh, that happened yesterday. So is price going to push back up based on where it is now? Well, let me zoom in. This is on 1 hour time frame. Let's wait for price to break above this path successfully. So now it breaks above this path successfully, then we could have price pushing back up. But if that is not the case, price could respect this particular zone here and what and drop back down. So let's just hold on and see what price is going to do. We still got some time around this point. Yeah, still have some good time around this point. So price could respect this point and drop back down. Okay, so let's see what is going to happen. If he's able to break above this point successfully and maybe a little returns back to this point and it doesn't break down, break below this point, then we could have price moving back to the upside and continues moving up to as high as this point and maybe even give us a new high on this. Okay, so that's that on US 100. Okay, let's look at US 500. So US 500 too, also there was a gap down showing that there was a gap down to this point. And well, for me, just like I've said, I will expect price to cover for this gap. I will expect price to cover for this gap. Just based on my own opinion, I'm expecting price to cover for this gap. So once price gets to this high now, from this point, we could have price reversing back down. Yes, we could have price reversing back down. But for now, I, for one, based on my own opinion, I will expect price to cover for that gap. Okay, so that's that for that. All right, let's look at US 2000. US 2000. So US 2000 for a while now, if you're looking at it now, you'll discover that it's more or less like it's just moving around these 2 points. But if we want to look at it based on the trend, we can see from this particular section now, This has been the movement of US 2000 based on what we are saying. This has been the movement on US 2000. Yes. So, and okay, let's look at it from this other side too. From this low. Okay. Yes. All right. So let's look at it 4 hours time frame. Can we see it's moving like this? So now these are two strong points. Two strong points. These are two strong points. One of the two will happen. Either it breaks up of this point or it comes down to this point and breaks below this point. One of the two will surely happen. But nobody knows where exactly it's going. As we can see where price is here now. So we need to hold on and see what price wants to do. But one thing I can say for sure is this: if it's able to break out of these zones, if it's able to break out of these two zones that has been marked out, either to the upside or downside, there's going to be a strong push on these instruments, either to the upside or to the downside. One of the two is going to happen. You understand? So we should just cross our hands and watch. It could happen today, it could happen next week, but one of it is going to happen, either to the upside or to the downside. Okay, so the next instrument we'll look at is DE40. Let's look at DE40. DE40. Now, the DE40 is the German stocks. Okay, so let's look at it based on what we're seeing on daily time frame. Price is pushing back to the upside. Ooh, so it closed bullish as of yesterday, then it gapped down. And based on what we're seeing on candle zero again, we can see that it's trying to push up. Well, let's watch and see what price wants to do. Is it going to push up or not? Based on the zones we are seeing here on this daily time frame, this is it for this. This is where it's standing. Yeah, this is where it's standing. You can see. So this is on daily time frame. So we can't really pick our entries from daily because it's a long time. But let's look at it from the lower time frames. Let's come back to our 1 hour. So on our 1 hour now, we can see that where price is, there's a strong zone around this point, even though from here it pushed up to this point. It pushed price up to this point, after which there was a drop. That's when it gapped down. So price for me, I feel, will want to come and cover for this. So this is where the real deal is, where the zone is. Price might want to come and cover for this zone. And if it's able to cover for this zone, from this point now, price could get rejected, or it breaks above that point and continues that move. So that's that. So let's just hold on and watch what price is going to do around this point. Is it going to cover for this? And after it covers for this, it breaks above and continue that movement, or it respects this point and drops back down. We need to watch it closely. After that, then we can really look at the next step to take once we are able to determine the direction of the market. Okay, so yes, I'm going to be giving us we have some few minutes more. Yeah, we have like 8 minutes more. So in that 8 minutes, I would like to give us the opportunity to pick any other instrument of our choice, just based on currencies, then we'll look at it. We'll look at it together. So who has that instrument? Who wants me to help? Who wants us to analyze a particular instrument? Please come and drop it for me on the chat section. Just drop it on the chat section for me. Drop it on the chat section for me. All right. Okay. Index. Somebody wants us to look at the index market. All right. So let's see. Let's look at the index market and see what is there on the index market. The index. Okay, so based on what we're saying now, we can see it's showing that the US index is losing strength. You understand? The US dollars is losing strength, and that's why you're seeing a bearish candle here now. That's why you're seeing a bearish candle. If it's able to go green, bullish, then it shows that dollars is gaining strength. But for now, dollars is losing strength. It's really losing strength based on what we're saying. It's losing strength. Okay, let's just see. So from the daily time frame, look at it. It has pushed up to, okay. So look at it here now. From this point, it has pushed up to this point, and price is respecting the zone that is here. There's a fixed zone around this point, and price is respecting that zone. And that's it. You can see that price has touched that point several times and it has gotten rejected. So is price going to break above this point or not? see, if you are to look at it based on this trend, we could say from here to this point now. Okay, so price has actually had issues around this point. So one of the two will happen. If it breaks below this particular trend here, then we could have price dropping for a very long time on this particular instrument. So USD index, well, this is on daily time frame. So based on what we are saying, if it's able to drop below these points, then below this particular section, then we might have a very strong push to the downside on the UXD index. Okay, so that's that. All right, let's look at GBP JPY. GBP JPY. Let's see what is happening on GBP JPY. GBP JPY. Okay, GBP JPY with us. So on GBP JPY now, looking at it from the daily time frame, whoa, this is what it's showing. Well, this is a long time and we really don't know if it's going to be like that. But if he's able to push in a little bit and closes on the body of this candle one, then that could be a strong push to the upside. Although remember that price ranged around this point for a while, then it broke out of that zone. And you see, whenever we talk about ranging market, we say it's a correction zone. And if it's able to pick a direction after that, we follow in that line. So some of us might have seen this and entered this bullish push. Well, we're seeing it that way now. Let's just look at it on the lower time frame. So from the lower time frame, we can see that price dropped to this point, and for a while it ranged, and this is what it's showing as of now. So if it's giving us this as of this moment, then based on what we're saying, it's showing the strength of GBP. Yeah, that's why it's bullish. JPY is weak as of now. That's what we're just saying here now. Yeah, GBP, JPY. So based on what we're saying, you know, this is it. As of yesterday, early hours of this morning, 2:30 a.m., there was a news on called CPI, GPY, and PP and CPI year to year, and you can see it pushed down to this point, but it ranged a little, and now it's breaking into this point. So there's this zone here, and it's unable, it didn't break it, and rather than that, now price is reversing back to the upside. So what is happening is it's coming back to this particular zone around this point. Based on what we're seeing, is a strong push. So one of the two will happen. Either it breaks above this point and reverses back to the upside, or it gets to this point, respects it, then drop back to this point. So the movement is just between these two zones. So either it breaks out of this point, goes up, or it respects this point and drops back down. So that's that on GBP, JPY. Let's look at Euro GBP. Euro GBP. Euro GBP. Okay, so this is Euro GBP. Now, Euro GBP, based on what we're seeing, price is pushing back to the upside, and it has gotten to around this point. There's a zone around this point, and that's why we can see that price is rejecting that point. Okay, looking at it here, you can see that price got to this point and price is dropping back down. You understand? So we could have price pushing down, but in those, based on what we are seeing here, there could be a strong push to the downside around this point, but let's wait and see what price wants to do. If price is able to break below, in fact, let me zoom out first so we see it. There's a zone around that point. So around this point, if price is able to break below this point successfully, we could have price pushing to the downside. Yes, there's a zone around that point. If price is able to break below that part successfully, then we could have price pushing down. Although he's already giving us that wave that price wants to drop, but we can't be too sure that that's what he wants to do. This could just be a pullback, and after that, from this point, it continues that push to the upside. So let's just watch what he's going to do. If price should respect this point from here and reverses back, then we could have that continuation in that bullish move on Euro GBP. On Euro GBP, yes. So that's my take on it. Okay, Euro CHF. Let's look at Euro CHF. Euro CHF. I'm on Euro CHF now. Euro CHF. Okay, so this is Euro CHF. We can see it's more or less like the euro is gaining strength as of this moment. That's why we can see it on candle zero that it's pushing up. I'm coming. Let's look at this news. Maybe the news on this euros has been released. Maybe that's why we are seeing it pushing up. Let's see, or maybe there's something important out. Okay, so the news on euros is yet to come out. We've not seen any news on that being released as of now. Euro CHF, the German prelim is yet to come out. It's yet to be released. But yes, euro is gaining strength. Currently, it's gaining strength and it's pushing up. Something must really be happening for it to be pushing up. There's a zone around this point, and if it's able to break above that zone, based on what we're saying on this 1 hour time frame, is able to break above this zone, we could have price pushing to the upside. But if it respects this point, then price could drop back down. Yes. So the last instrument I'll be looking at for now is DE40, although I've done that before. That was the last instrument before I requested for it, but it's been requested for again. So let's just look at it. DE40. That's the last instrument I'll look at, and that's it for today. Thank you. So just like I said, price is pushing up, as we can see here. It's pushing up. So let's hold on and see if price is going to break above this point or not. But if it doesn't and it respects this point, in fact, based on what we're saying, if we draw this zone, you can see that this is where it is strictly still respecting this point. You understand? But if it's able to break above this particular section that has been marked out for us successfully, if it's able to respect that point successfully, then we could expect price pushing up. But if that is not the case and it gets rejected, then we could have price pushing down. So let's just watch out and see. A new candle is already starting and we can see what is showing, a bearish candle. But that doesn't really mean, we don't really know, but is respecting this point here. So price could drop back down. One of the two will happen. Anyway, that's that for today. Thank you very much for joining us on this market review. Have a lovely weekend ahead. Bye for now.